Welcome to Show-Off Showdown! In this series, the fighters are called Show-Offs, and this is the series for the Show-Off Showdown! Now let's meet the Show-Offs for tonight's showdown, shall we? Now get ready to grind your gears, cause tonight we have a battle of the Fem-Bots! And I'm not talking about the ones from Austin Powers with the big guns. I'm talking Gearshift VS Andriod 18. Who will win, and who will become nothing but scrap metal? It's time to find out. I put links to the analysis on both characters in the description below. Now without further ado, it's time for the Show-Off to Showdown!
Get ready for the next battle.
All geared up.
My, what do we have here? Let me ask you, does a machine like yourself ever experience fear? I'll take care of this bucket of both myself.
Technically speaking, I am awesome.
Enough talk. Let's see what you've got.
It's all over now.
Look, he noticed. How cute.
Clean up on aisle 18. We got a big pile of scrap metal to clean up. Now let's discuss how and why Andriod 18 wins this robotic hardcore showdown. Now for starters, believe it or not, Gearshift and Andriod 18 are relatively similar characters, with a few differences. While it is true that Andriod 18 is only half machine and half human, while Gearshift is a full-fledged robot, and it is true that 18 was originally a villain, while Gearshift was literally made to be a hero. On the other hand, Gearshift and 18 are both very powerful mechanical fighters, and they are both part of a team of great legendary warriors and heroes who protect their universe from evil and anything that threatens it. Now, while it is
fairly easy to find notable feats in the Dragon Ball series, it's definitely a lot harder to find notable feats in the Skylander series. Now, if you want to find Skylander's feats outside the video games, then the best places to look would be in the TV series and in the official Skylanders comic books. For example, in issues number 10 and 11, Light in the Dark, Gearshift has proven herself to be a fully capable leader, a great warrior, and a very determined, fierce fighter. Now, of course, 18 has definitely proven herself to be a great warrior and quite the fighter herself as well. And I don't really need to explain as much to prove that now, do I? Although most of these facts don't really matter that much, because this video is not about debating on who is the better character, it is about who would win in a fight. And it's best we start discussing that before the audience just gets bored and leaves. Now let's start off with who is more skilled and experienced. Now because the Skylanders have been around for over 10,000 years, I think it's safe to say that Gearshift does have more experience than 18. However, experience is not the same thing as fighting skill and combative capability. In terms of fighting skill and capability, these two are relatively even depending on how you look at them. Although Gearshift and 18 both have two very different fighting styles from each other, while they are both perfectly capable of fighting in both short and long range, 18 is more of a hand-to-hand combat fighter, while Gearshift is more of a dueler and she usually fights with twin blades most of the time. Both of these fighting styles are very effective in their own right, depending on the circumstances. Now, I think we can all agree that 18 is physically stronger when it comes to raw brute strength. I'm sure we all remember the time she broke Super Saiyan Vegeta's arm, right? This proves that 18 is definitely stronger than the average Super Saiyan, the same Super Saiyan that Frieza in his final form was no match for, so that's definitely worth noting. Now, as for Gearshift, while she is fairly strong in her own right, she doesn't really rely on her raw strength in combat, and she usually relies a lot more on her powerful Traptanium weapon and skills, which I will talk more about later. Now, it is true that 18 definitely has a lot more destructive capability than Gearshift, although on the bright side, Gearshift has tanked some pretty devastating destructive attacks before, which leads me to durability. For example, not only can Gearshift tank attacks from powerful enemies such as the Doom Raiders and Chaos, but believe it or not, Gearshift once survived a massively devastating and powerful magical explosion that destroyed Cloud Cracker Prison, a monumental ancient prison made entirely out of Traptanium, and after that, the magical explosion was so powerful it literally blew Gearshift and all of the other Trap Masters into another dimension. The leader of the Trap Masters, named Snapshot, has stated that very specifically in the very first Skylanders Trap Team trailer.
Where you guys been?
When Chaos blew up Cloud Cracker Prison, the Tramp Masters were blown into another dimension. Luckily, some Portal Masters found me and boomed me back.
So yeah, I think we can all agree that Gearshift has some pretty impressive durability right there. Also, being a robot, Gearshift can fight for hours or even days on end without tiring out even in the slightest. So I think it's safe to assume that 18 and Gearshift both have a potentially unlimited amount of stamina. However, despite Gearshift's incredible durability and stamina, she isn't perfect. Her robotic body can break down if she has taken too much damage, or in other words, Gearshift's body may be very durable, but it's not indestructible, and there is a limit to how much damage she can take. In fact, Gearshift has been badly damaged before and has even almost died in one of the Skylanders comic books I mentioned earlier. So it is going to take a lot of force and power to destroy Gearshift's incredibly tough robotic body, but 18 does have the strength and power to eventually get the job done. Now you're probably wondering, does Gearshift even have a way to kill or at least harm Android 18? Well, believe it or not, yes. Allow me to explain. Gearshift is one of the 18 Trap Masters, which means not only is she one of the guardians of Cloud Cracker Prison, but she wields a very special and powerful magical weapon made of Traptanium. Traptanium is a very special type of magical crystal that was said to be the most powerful source of magic in all of Skylands. Every Trap Master wields a special weapon made of this magnificent crystal. The certain special weapon that Gearshift wields was originally the emblem of her people, known as the Great Gear, but was then reforged with magical Traptanium crystals, making it even more powerful than it already was. Gearshift can use her Traptanium gear weapon in 3 different styles or modes. In Hoop mode, she can literally shift into action and damage all enemies around her at a close range. In Dual mode, she can split her gear in half into twin blades, which she can use to slice and dice through even the toughest enemies like butter. And in Fragment mode, she can deliver fast kicks and also bombard her enemies by breaking out shards of Traptanium and sending rapid Traptanium and gear projectiles flying at her enemies. So as you can tell, Gearshift's Traptanium gear is a pretty versatile weapon. Now, Traptanium may not be indestructible, but it is extremely hard to break. Kinda like adamantium. Not only is Gearshift's Traptanium gear capable of breaking other Traptanium crystals, but it is specifically designed for combating very powerful and dangerous enemies, such as the Doom Raiders and even Traptanium Chaos. In my Chaos vs. Frieza episode, I've already explained how Traptanium Chaos has potentially limitless power, and how his power is similar to how Superman's power works, and that he might be on the same level as Superman, if not more powerful than Superman. So I think it's safe to say that Traptanium Chaos is more powerful than most of the opponents that 18 has faced, but that's not what I'm talking about right now. You can learn more about Traptanium Chaos in my Chaos vs. Frieza episode. Anyway, once again, Gearshift's Traptanium weapon is specifically designed to combat and harm very powerful enemies such as Traptanium Chaos. If Gearshift's Traptanium gear is capable of harming enemies that powerful, I think it's safe to say that it is capable of harming Android 18. In fact, Gearshift's Traptanium gear blades are potentially sharp and powerful enough to sever a limb from 18's body. In fact, with a perfectly direct and precise enough slash, she could probably even take 18's head off. Okay, now before everyone gets all angry and confused, the biggest problem with that is that Android 18 is so fast that Gearshift probably won't even get a chance to land even one good hit on 18. Or in other words, the biggest advantage that 18 has over Gearshift is easily speed. Android 18's speed is just something that Gearshift simply can't keep up with. Android 18's travel speed has been estimated to be well over 15 million miles per hour at least, and she can literally fight at the speed of light or faster than light in close combat. Now, believe it or not, there are very few Skylanders who are fast enough to move at the speed of light, such as Spitfire and Master Eon's niece, Aurora, for example. But sadly, Gearshift isn't one of them. While her gear grind cartwheel maneuver is good for short dashes and dodging attacks, it's not nearly enough to dodge 18's attacks. While on the other hand, 18 can dodge pretty much everything that Gearshift has to throw at her. I'll just say it right now, 18 will most likely speed blitz Gearshift. Now, while Gearshift is very durable once again, 18 will be landing so many rapid, devastating hits on Gearshift that she will eventually reduce Gearshift's robotic body to nothing but scrap metal. Okay, now theoretically, if Gearshift had prep time, then she would probably have a slightly better chance of winning if she brought some magic items with her, such as the wing boots, which are very similar to the boots of Hermes from God of War, which will increase Gearshift's speed, but it probably still wouldn't be enough to keep up with Android 18's speed. Now, if Gearshift used the Time Twist Hourglass, which can temporarily slow down time, then it would probably work, assuming 18 doesn't manage to outpace that one as well. But rather, if it does or not, it still doesn't matter, because this is just a one-on-one fight with no prep time and no outside sources, which means no magic items, no sensu beans, none of that. Oh, and one last thing. If you're wondering why Vegeta was in the fight scene, it was only for theatrical dramatic effect, and to make the fight scene a little more interesting. Just remember, the animation does not equal simulation. Or in other words, it was just for fun. So in the end, Gearshift just didn't have the right gear for the job.
You know what really grinds my gears?
Bad jokes, so shut the fuck up.
Yeah, I know. Nice use of the meme though. The winner of this battle is Android 18.
Got any ideas for Show-Off Showdown? Then let me know in the comments below, and hopefully I just might do them. Now stay tuned for the next episode of Show-Off Showdown!